Okay, so the last video we talked about ceasefire, but now what's going on?
Someone's shooting.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So this is actually the headline here. Trump ceasefire falters, fails, as Israel says Iran launched more missiles. Now, I won't say I'm like shocked,
But is that
surprised. What's that?
like their agreement time? They said 12 hours later it starts. Or is that
Yeah, this is after.
after that
Yeah,
time?
so Trump was saying that the peace thing was in effect, but this whole thing was so questionable
Mm.
because, like, when we talk about a peace deal, you need the actual.
Yeah, they normally come together.
You should.
They,
Right.
announce, just together.
Right.
And, they shake hands, whatever.
Sign something,
Yeah,
or like,
sign something.
where was the agreement? I guess everything's by Twitter these days.
That's that's true.
So that's why we were just talking about, like, if you're going to do a ceasefire, where's the actual agreement?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what are the terms? Now, to be fair, Trump did tweet out a bunch of stuff, but it's just all this is all happening so quickly and at different times, which is kind of
And
weird.
even Twitter says something, it's not everything's
Yeah.
true, and it's not everything became true.
And
Because
so
he just write his wishes, I guess.
yeah, right. Hey, I got this idea, guys. How about you think about it? I was out drinking some beer at 2 a.m. in the morning, and then Iran's like, what? And then Israel's like, what? And then, then we all start talking about it, like, okay, maybe, but then we just start shooting. The thing that was kind of weird about this stuff is that Iran even was tweeting out, is like, we're going to be fighting until the very last minute. Like, he literally said that. He's like, the 4 a.m. is the deadline, and we're still fighting until the 4 a.m. But after 4 a.m., we're not going to fight anymore. But then, like, literally just a couple minutes ago, Israel is ordering attacks on Iran, saying that Iran had attacked them. So this is like, Trump was claiming victory, but this is like almost immediately. It's just
victory.
Yeah, so basically, this is what happened was, so Trump declared sort of like the peace victory at like 2 a.m. in the morning their time, right?
Yeah.
So they wake up 6, 7, they're like, what's this? All these crazy tweets, and I don't know, I'm gonna start firing, and then now they're shooting again. So it's kind of a weird. This whole thing was weird.
That's Trump's plan. He causes big war, and he just claimed that there is the 휴전화.
Ceasefire.
Ceasefire.
Right.
Then his goal is, I did that, so I get the Nobel Peace Prize.
Right. Right. Someone made the joke actually in the comments of, like, it's like Trump walking into a dish shop, breaking all the dishes, and then the other people clean up, and then he claims victory. See, look at this, everyone's cleaning. I want to read a couple headlines just happening. This is from Associated Press 4 minutes ago. Iranian governor. This is what they're saying. Israeli strike before the ceasefire killed 9 civilians. Like, just happened. 7 minutes ago, Iran says it transferred all inmates out of a prison after it was targeted. So, like, Israel was targeting a prison.
Yeah.
Everything's crazy here. Then they're saying Israel opposition leader says majority of Iran's enriched uranium destroyed. So they're claiming victory there. We don't know necessarily that's true. This is how wild our headlines are. 22 minutes ago, Iran's military denies it fired missiles at Israel after ceasefire. Because theoretically, just to be fair, it could be other groups in Iran that fired something.
Not like Iran's government.
Yeah, it could be, but who knows? I mean, honestly, who knows this stuff? Because I just saw a report too today that in Iraq reported there was a bunch of drones that were hitting various bases. But they didn't say from where.
Yeah.
I think there's always going to be people in that region that just don't necessarily want the peace, right? To sort of keep the fighting going, because anyone you watch the Middle East for years, it's always been like that. And then the latest one was Israel. That says Israel orders. This is the quote: intense strikes on Tehran. Iran denies breaking the truce. And then now Qatar is saying, hey, Iran, send your people, let's talk. That's where we are right now. So, like, how could you, if you're fighting with someone, how do you build up trust to even trust these people? And I'm not taking a side. I'm just saying, like, how would you get any kind of trust?
So not like that, like middle person, like Qatar.
Oh, right.
They just come here, and you guys talk. Even like when the terror off, The Xi didn't go to USA.
Oh,
Trump
you
didn't go to
go
China.
to
They just
Geneva.
meet in
Yeah.
Geneva or UK.
Yeah, you could do that. You could mean like a third party.
Mm.
Yeah, it's interesting though. Here it just says Qatar summoning the Iranian envoy, so I don't know if they're already talking with Israel or not. Maybe not. See, this is the problem: is when say Iran and Israel aren't going to talk, then you always have to go through a third person, and then like you got to find the third person
Who's very neutral.
Right. So it's not going to be the USA.
No.
No.
Who can trust Trump?
Yeah. It's see, and so then like, does everyone trust Qatar? I don't know. And then from Iran's perspective, they're not going to trust anyone from Europe because they got a bad history with that. So this is where it's like, who can negotiate the deal? And then Trump's like, hey guys, I'm going to get the Nobel Peace Prize.
How about that? China.
No, so that's been the talk. That's been the talk. That's been the talk that China could do it.
Yeah.
Theoretically. Trump wanted Putin to do it, but that's not
the
gonna happen.
Putin's more like the Iran side, right?
Yeah, you could say that, but the report was that Putin's not going to give weapons to Iran. So, but they would tend to be more. They would tend to be more on Iran's side.
Yeah,
yeah, that would be
they
correct.
get the drone from Iran.
Yes, yeah. Right? So Iran probably gives weapons to Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then Russia's like, I'm not helping you. We're kind of busy. There were rumors maybe that Putin would give nuclear weapons to Iran, but we'll see. Yeah, who's going to do this? So that'll be kind of an interesting one. If you want to get Trump really, really mad, if someone from Qatar wins a Nobel Peace Prize, right?
No, China.
Oh yeah, someone from China wins. Yeah, she wins a Nobel Peace Prize. She'll be like, oh man, I hate that guy. Oh, but we're best friends, right? And
I love that guy.
Yeah. Just watch Trump trying to get his picture with President Xi and then try to take that away. That's mine. That's how Trump is. Okay, so talking about just realistically. Okay, so I think a third party, I would agree. Now, theoretically, you could both send people to meet. Theoretically. Yeah. But it's kind of hard to do. Because I want you guys to just think about this logically. Okay, so let's say you're neighbors. And your neighbor's like, throwing bombs in your house. And they just blew up your, favorite TV last night. And then they're like, okay, guys, let's have peace. Like, you're kind of mad. Wouldn't you be...
In that case, you killed my children.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Would you be kind of just last night?
Oh, stop shooting. I'm not going to shoot you, but you just killed my family.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
So, because I was just watching reports, like that's why I read the one report. Because I know sometimes when you read this stuff, you just kind of, we say desensitized, I mean, like, you don't, it just sort of just seems like text. But when you're just reading, like, one governor's like, hey, 9 people died. And then on the Israeli side, people also got hurt as well. I don't know if anyone died, but don't act like only one side. I mean, so it's hard. I mean, it just happened. And okay, so the first thing you would need to do is not be angry, right? So if you can.
Yeah, if you can.
And you need a third person come in and say, okay, guys, let's stop fighting for a week. Can we at least do a week? Like we can't, or I mean, at this point, can we just do a day, right?
Yeah. So normally UN does those jobs, right?
Okay, so there's a couple things. So one would be if a third party theoretically would to be involved, then they would come in as, quote, we call it peacekeepers. And then the idea would be they wear these blue hats with the big UN symbol on there, and they'd be kind of in the middle, or like a Red Cross. So people generally don't mess with the Red Cross. The Red Cross wants to come in, just do humanitarian stuff. They kind of just, okay, we're okay with the Red Cross. But the UN kind of thing from Iran's perspective represents more kind of Western kind of thing. Now it doesn't have to represent Western, but
they believe.
I would argue that. So if someone disagrees with me, please, I want to hear your thoughts on that. But I would argue that. Let's just say USA, the UK, various countries have a long history of meddling in Iranian politics. This is just history, not my opinion, just history.
Yeah.
And I think would be really ugly, and I have a feeling Trump would try to do it, is try to like install a family member of the old Shah to come in and take power, and that'd be a whole mess. So the problem is, if you really want a true peace here, is you got to figure out how to get these people to talk. And then there's that other issue, which we've talked about in the last video, is Gaza. The only real solution that's always floated is two-state solution. So basically, people in Palestine need their own country, essentially, need their own state, but Israel's never really on board with that, but that's where you get into like really thorny stuff. I just want to talk about just an actual peace deal. So the first thing you need to do is okay, the sign of agreement, then you say, okay, stop shooting, and you develop trust over time if you can, the longer that you can do it. But we can't even get like a couple hours of ceasefire, and the ceasefire is done over by Twitter. Other things that you could do theoretically is like, hey, can we trade prisoners, or can we like exchange something can we complete a
Yeah,
transaction to where we can trust each other? But I mean,
but there's
we're
no,
not even close to
yeah.
that, you know. So guys, we were just looking at Trump's Twitter, and they tweet like all this like victory stuff, like for the last couple of hours, and then all of Trump's like cabinet team members like, oh man, Trump's the greatest leader of all time, etc. And it's just um, don't believe any of the stuff that they put out there. And again, the ceasefire is very, very shaky. It looks like they're already shooting. And then right now, as we're recording this video, we're waiting to see if Israel does indeed follow through, because they said Israel just said, this is from Israel, intense strikes on Tehran, and Iran's trying to say no, no, we didn't do the shooting. But either way,
Well,
once the shooting starts, and that's what we're watching for. So I'll try to keep you guys updated. This is a crazy story, and I do appreciate watching. And we'll catch you all next video. So,
bye.
bye.